Let's go with Andy. Got good hits.
The finer the meal. Remember, diamonds come in small boxes. I think that suits you.
We try something like this. Fair enough. I've been hearing people talk about like the potion stuff being good early. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what, maybe I try like a potion small package. Just as like another option for the early tempo.
I seek ultimate power. I have no time for you.
I also do want to try as many like early game lines as possible because I'm considering making a like Mac early game guide.
Discounts for peace.
Calcinator's good with like incense.
I'm glad you bought this.
Philostone is good too.
Of all
We're definitely hitting a lot of the stuff. You know what? Bronze chocolate bars is not to be underestimated on this character. Slam some of those. Seems reasonable for first day. Oh yeah. No, the shops can definitely get a bit rough sometimes. Well, so this is like 40 damage and 4 burn. So here we have like 80 damage and 8 burn, plus another 6 burn that's gonna stack to be like 10. 80 damage, let's say 100. One could be a little bit tough, to be honest. We'll see. I think we might just not have enough damage to actually finish the fight, and yet poison works a lot better. We'll see, maybe I'm underestimating just how far the burn gets you and the pitfall. Okay, you know what? That looks pretty alright. Like, if this had just been silver, or we had like one skill, or he didn't have regen, I think we could have probably won that. I see the upside to this line at least. Let's go for a tool. Tools can be pretty good. Durable is a fine one. And here is that left-handed we were talking about. And then of course we're very happy to see Mandala. Get all that burn to start stacking. I think this looks very solid. We got some regen, we're double dipping on the left-handed, and the calcinator is also like applying some full right burn. No, it's definitely a good shot. Like I did Mac run with Sixten yesterday, and he mentioned that he'd seen a lot of people use bottle lightning, and it made me go, you know what, I've seen that too, let's give it a try, and I'm already kind of impressed. Rust is a huge high roll on Mac, so we're very happy to see that.
everyone here is huge. It's terrifying.
Ruby is amazing. And let's go with the dagger too. I'm liking this potion. I like what it does for us. I'm not as excited for the upgrade to the Thurible, but going from 1 to 2 regen does matter a fair bit, so Throw that on there for good measure. Unfortunately, we didn't actually find any exp encounter outside of that one
With no time for
furry when we
greater
didn't
perfection.
have any friend yet, so we will be one level below here, but you know how it goes. With the, like, the ball lightning could still totally carry us, though. There's not... Hope isn't gone yet. Let's go with this.
You are a child, and I will punish you.
Okay, we ran into an opponent that hasn't leveled yet themselves, and they're playing Companion Force, so this looks pretty beatable. Yeah, Calcinator is a good one to get to silver for kind of especially like 2 reasons. It's both because the money gets better, but it's also because if you have it early, it means that this is like a valid potential carry item.
After all these
The only other one that I would say can be like kind of comparable to how highly you want to rate upgrading it is Incense, since I think Incense is like the item that can carry the most amount of builds. So I think Incense is a very fair upgrade too. Looks solid. Let's go with Isla.
This leg. And when you carry my weapon, I fight alongside
There's still definitely some, like, it's never a bad idea to have that Spider Mace angle available. You never know when it's gonna come in useful.
I'm faster than lightning.
Yeah, and the main thing is, like, I like that Calcinator is direction on its own, whereas Incense is good because it can be direction, but you still need Incense plus something for it to be direction. So you can never go wrong. Like, on day 1 especially, you definitely can't ever go wrong with that upgrade. Smalls and largest. I was very tempted to put +2 burn onto the bottled lightning, but the possibility of rolling potion distillery is like way too significant.
happy to exploit you. I mean help you.
Hi Vixmo, hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, I think with this much like burn and damage, I think we actually could have beaten even Scout Trooper without chocolates, but at the right is a lot easier.
Each new discovery, the formula of life is
You getting jealous of my shops now? So, normally, like I was saying, I really like upgrading the incense here. But I actually think we're doing so good on tempo, I'm just gonna try to get burn.
I'm not sure where else there are greater trainers than me. I'm just getting you ready for them.
Actually, let's do this. It's a 50-50, but if it hits on the bottle lightning, it's really
Why
powerful.
must we do this? Death laughs at us both. You remind me of
Yeah, I
something from
mean,
last century.
this is the kind of skill that gets you to 75% win rate on Mac, what can I say, you know? Oh, they have Memento Mori and Staff of the Moose already. That is a little bit scary. But we did hit the healing, which is very good in this case.
Time is long, but I have none
Oof.
left for you.
Staff of the Moose just has such a big number currently. Maybe with some chocolates we could have made it happen. Ooh, that's great. Now I'm like slightly regretful that we didn't go for the just fine for now. This would have been nice with the incense. Maybe it is just always incense, who knows? We have a lot of gold. Let's just go for the show.
Special promotion today. Everything is for sale.
Not gonna sell any of these though. They're still like, if we just hit Poppy Field, we might go for that angle.
Point of everything.
These are all very high impact triggers, so we should be fairly safe going for Marinaras. Even though I am sad that we haven't seen even a single chocolates yet, it would make me way more confident. Bronze lead is still like, if I find distillery, I commit to the calcinator line, and then it's a reagent to transform, so... it's low cost enough to keep it around, but I don't mind. You know what? This is one nice thing about going for like a small potion sub package. It's that when we do find like Gunner, we can actually use it. And here I really want some more health, because burst is the big thing that's concerning me. Now we did find the chocolates, which means that we do maybe sell out of some stuff. This one isn't very important. And we already have an incense, so that one isn't too important either. I'd consider these the most important pieces. And this lost us 2 gold, but because we have so much gold, that's why I wasn't like fuzzed going to that store either. And obviously I'm very happy with how this day went, since we got both chocolate and a vitality stew, so now we're much more confident going into what I expected to be Weapon Vanessa. This can still like absolutely kill us, but you know, 200 extra health and 5 regen makes it much likelier that you have a shot. And you know what? The runic potion is really paying off too. I need to start doing this line more often. This looks great. Hello, Chepishimaru. Yeah, and thank you for the follow as well. I do like the income start. I think on Mac, there are valid arguments for all of the different starts. I don't think there's like one that's entirely superior. However, personally, I'm a big fan of income because it makes it much easier to hold a bunch of pieces in your stash so that you can kind of fluidly transition between the different builds. So I think that's a nice upside of income. However, if you want to start gold skill and you high roll the skill, that's one possible way of kind of making you have a much more impactful early game. Or if you end up going for the enchanted item, the high rolls can be pretty good too. Yeah, so I haven't been using this that much either, but I was convinced to try Bottle Lightning, and I've been fairly impressed. Actually, I do think we don't need it anymore though, since 2 charges should be enough. But it's a good way to make sure that you can actually keep the Bottle Lightning on the board in the early game, so I think that probably is like the main combo with it. It could have also worked with, like, it doesn't have to be that, it can also be this one. In my Mac guide, I talked about how hitting Diamond Fangs or a Diamond Fang from Sabertooth are pretty big high rolls, but we already have a stacked Calcinator, so I'm gonna go for the higher X option instead, because I'd really like Petrifying Gaze or Vial of Blood in this spot. I don't value the mace upgrade that high, especially because we already have a direction, but even if we end up in Poppy Field or something, I'm not gonna mind the slight amount of damage that I'm missing. The big reason to cut the dagger there is kinda just so the runic potion always hits the ball of lightning.
Cover them all.
I like loot, but silver tool can be distillery if you high roll, so it's always kind of worth going for. Durable has been outscaled, so just make sure I remember to have 2 slots open. Okay, well, I don't actually care enough about getting 2 chunks of lead, and I want more gold chocolates. I'm feeling really strong right here, so I'm willing to take chocolates and then look for this upgrade.
What can I get you?
Whereas if we were less strong, I would have probably looked for items in that other store.
If you knew my true
Yeah, if I
purpose,
ever lose by
you would stand
exactly
aside.
like 20 damage with Poppyfield on my board, I'll give it to you. I don't think that's gonna happen. And now it's nice, we have like the haste package for the calcinator too.
You should put it toward
This item is kinda crazy. That's so much healing. And it scales with slow and steady, which is very funny as well. Good morning, Para. How you doing? We're playing some Mac.
Nothing tiny, nothing huge. All about moderation.
I think Fireclaw is a bit slow. Like, most of the time, what I want to run the most with this are other, like, good small activators. Library is a huge hit, and then we'd want Distillery as well. Okay, now we need to somehow fund that Distillery. This just got a bit tough. It's rough that they were both offered at gold. I think I might have to sell the library for it, but let's see if we can somehow. So we need to get another 13 gold. So this is 2, 4, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh no, we can easily fund it, no worries. Let's think then, what does the... Is this the board? Well, I think at that point I'd probably rather run this one. So like the board would be like this. And then this is probably better than 13 regen. So maybe like this. Which means that we're starting by selling the easiest ones. These never make it on the board. I need to sell these, which I think is worth. Let's see. Nice, nice. Yeah, rust is really huge because of the smelling salts. I'm not sure about... Oh, yeah, lightning's a weapon. I somehow, like, forgot that that's, like, a relevant factor to consider when you have library. I haven't been playing this particular variation of the build enough. That's a good shout. Which means that I'm out of this one as well, so it's probably this then. That looks very correct. This I'm quite happy with.
Whatever that is for, I hope it pleases you.
Yeah. Exactly, no runic with that either. Dire Mosquito giving us like a wing would be really sweet, but I think I'm just gonna go for guaranteed X.
Financial assistance.
So it was mainly just because I didn't want to have to sell any of these items, and I know that I'm never playing playing the Obsidian Shard on the board with the library. But normally I like keeping Obsidian Shard around, yeah. And you asked about the VAT too. I don't actually know exactly how strong VAT is. I've heard like different people kind of have different opinions on its current strength. But the main thing is that right here, we already had Calcinator and Library, which I know is a strong build. So I've preferred to just commit to the direction that I'd already found, rather than trying to look for pivoting into a different build. The ruby is like really unimpactful, and we buy another reagent.
I can feel our energy.
Just, honestly, I think we're gonna make so much money from transforming the gold these things, so I'm just gonna make sure that we have all the reagents. And Curio is actually a really good shop here, because I'd love to have another slow on the incense.
Warms my rusty circuits to see that find home.
No slow, but that's fine. Now we put this on the calcinator. Yeah, like with these two, basically everything else is flexible. Playing this package is usually quite good, because it is one of the only ways that Mac can solve haste, and then the strength potion is really strong. I should have put some cooldown reduction on the strength potion. I forgot to check how the cooldowns lined up. I forget that they have the same base, but that's something we can easily fix if we just find the hourglass. Oh, never mind, it doesn't matter anyways, because we have rust, so they're always going to be desynced on the first hit. But then they sync up on the second.
I lost everything long before you were born.
Yeah, exactly. Which, that's definitely something that we can consider shuffling around later, but it'll depend a bit on like what enchants we find and stuff.
Size dilutes the brain. Mine is highly. Chill out.
So I think the earrings are a bit less important when you already have a library, because library lets you make the other things so quick that you don't necessarily have to rely on earrings with pendulum to make things go off.
Oh, hello, Mac.
Like, even if I just put pendulum on like incense or something, it'd still be quite good.
If there's anything wrong with that, tell me. I want to learn.
Nice, congratulations, Tim. Glad to hear you're winning. Let's go Zara and let's find Bottled Explosion, I think, is like the main thing that we want. You know what? Calming Hands is kind of cute with the Vitality Potion, but I think even though Static Acceleration isn't going to be any incredible numbers at Silver, it's like, it's fine. It's good enough. And this is another like payoff that we got only because we were in the Bottled Explosion early to give us Gunner, means that we're now very happy to just run like the potion sub-package for defenses. There's also like a world where we could put in Potion Distillery, but I think I'm not super worried about what happens when these run out of ammo. Like, it's fine that that happens eventually. Could give us another obsidian.
Buy my weapons. And
I think we have enough gold to roll just in case we find the obsidian, so that we have another reagent to roll.
Have you?
Come with no weapons? Leave
And there we go, now we get like the earrings back.
fascinating.
I'm gonna pick up Throne Net, especially because if we find like the dragon skill, for example, or if we're running earrings with pendulum, this combination is very powerful. But we're not necessarily doing that, it's more just like something to keep your eyes open for. And this one we're just buying to get the additional chunk of lead. It's already like not inconsiderable to run the earrings for the vitality potion, but I think that's a bit too cute of a combo to like really consider.
My power burns hotter, melting away
So, in terms of when I would play Femur, a lot of the time my general rule of thumb on Mac is mostly that I go for whichever build I find early so that I can commit to making it strong. So if I didn't have Calcinator, but I do have Incense Smelling Salts and like a Runic Potion, I'm really happy to go Femur. But when I already have a stacked Calcinator, I won't look to pivot out of it. And the same goes for like Poppy Field and Moose Staff. I'm happy to play any of the builds because I think they're all strong. So I can just commit to whichever one I find. Because regardless of... we pretend one of them is the best, the second best, and the third best, I think, and the fourth best out of those four. The fourth one, built perfectly, is going to be better than the strongest one built, like, weaker. That's, like, the main thing.
Well, howdy, hero.
Oh, let's do this.
That's been sitting there 20 years, waiting for you. Well, you're doing your part to clean up the bazaar.
And there we go, now we have the increased slow on that, which can be really nice, especially if we upgrade it. So, from this spot, there isn't anything that's strong enough to make me pivot to it. It's like, if I was playing one of the other builds, and suddenly I found, like, the perfect, like, a diamond... Runic Dagger and a Moose Staff in the same shop or something, maybe I'd consider it. But on Mac, at least, I think all of his builds are strong enough to get to 10 wins. So it matters most to make sure that you find the entire build rather than to try to pivot to one of his like other builds. And this is why I picked up the throwing net as well, by the way, just in case we get Draconic Rage, it's going to absolutely hard carry.
A waste of my time. But I do have plenty.
We're not that level of high roll though, it seems.
With enough power.
And obviously we do random on the Calcinator here. I would love for this to be fiery. Okay, slow isn't terrible, especially because it does mean that we can just cut the incense. Because now this is already looping itself. Don't even have any reagents, so let's just go to dig site and see if we can find something good. That's good enough.
Magnificent find. Each moment is a
Well,
gem, multifaceted, glittering.
laboratory is very interesting here. So, to run it, we would currently probably cut these three and then just run it like that. I guess it'd probably be this maybe. I could see that being worthwhile. It's really too bad that we didn't get an offensive enchant on this instead. I'm gonna try. I'm not convinced that this is better, but I'm curious enough to try and to find out. We definitely don't need the incense anymore. We're kind of past doing those things. Let's try how this feels. Right now, we're obviously being very, like, hyper-aggressive. It's possible that maybe the laboratory doesn't go in yet, and that we're supposed to play the defenses still until we get everything to diamond, but I wanted to see how it looks. No, that looks pretty good to me.
Another round.
Yeah, no, like this one is probably actually worth 48 gold. That's really nice, Farah, yeah. You're always happy to see those. I'm curious. I guess, like, probably we just keep stacking cooldown reduction on this one. We have really good upgrades to hit on the Grandmaster. Static acceleration is definitely one of them. I don't think we need to go for any particular high rolls, so we just press whatever gives the most X.
Man or beast.
Now, level 13 will be a really huge power spike for us, since it's what lets us upgrade the library. That's like the top priority. Oh, that's not really what we're going for here. I don't mind stock, though. It definitely helps with even just this one.
I would never debase my wares by.
So static goes off from the smelling salts. And this one slows 2 targets, and this one slows every time I use an enchanted item. So just going from having like 10-15% crit chance to really stacking that up could end up mattering. It's not like super significant, but since we already have such a powerful board, we're definitely okay just looking for those marginal upgrades at this point. And it also means that potentially we might not need to play Strength Potion for the whole game. Very curious to see what this ends up looking like. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Hey Corrado, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream.
You are amusing. Why so fight?
That's a massive hit, of course. It's exactly what we're hoping for. Yeah, now our comp is insane. Like, we're basically building Exodia.
My fight isn't with you.
Next time, boys. Less
Nice.
blunder. More
Getting the obsidian is funny though. Yeah, it's going great. This is my first kind of like laboratory Mac game, but it really seems to be working out.
This
Oh,
bazaar is
let's
a
take the shop. Can take this upgrade.
is a web.
Just
I will
cause
teach
looks
you to
pretty.
walk its
It's for
threads.
the aesthetics. And then we're already out of reagents. Now I'm debating if I go look to buy more or if I just take gold. Let's go look for some more.
Not war.
This is definitely, you know, one of the better vendors at finding them, so it's worth a shot.
Being fully present with me.
But like work? No. Yeah, I think
Another
formula
specimen
is
for my collection.
probably just too slow to be relevant, especially since we're doing stuff where we can go off just like insanely fast. Wait, is this? No, this is just a regular hourglass. I had to check for a second because it almost looked like that was a shiny hourglass, and I was about to say no way, right? But no, it's just the shiny like animation for it. Oh, there we go. Now that activated the shout out. Everyone should go follow Kuroto. He's great. Oh, Olivia found it. There we go. That's why you're gonna have trusty mods, you know, when you're clueless yourself. Take 10 pal. Looks great.
When we are finished,
We're so
I will
close to
serve you for
getting the laboratory upgrade as well, and then we're really gonna go insane, but you don't need to high roll more than this to just be winning anyways. Yeah, that does the trick.
With each new discovery, the formula of life is revealed.
And then here we're not only upgrading laboratory, but now that laboratory is upgraded, we actually do like this. Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, I'm so used in my brain still to the old effect of Catalyst, where it wasn't a reagent for the longest time. It worked kind of similar to like a worse metronome. So my brain like subconsciously ignores that item way too often. But you should absolutely be buying
Scratch the surface of the outlets.
buying catalysts. Yeah, you know, I got glasses for a reason, right? I don't even know what in particular we're looking for, like any kind of cooldown reduction or exp or anything like that would be amazing. I think with stock as well, at this point in the game, I'm willing to put in invulnerability potion. And we definitely can beat Frost Street Champion, but I actually think Trash Titan, like Juggler, would be such a massive high roll. But look at this, like, the lab goes absolutely crazy.
Not all my subjects survive.
I think, like, we might actually be hitting permanent invulnerability with the invulnerability potion.
Miss a step somewhere? What's wrong with it?
Reward the peaceful, punish the warful.
Normally, a lot of the time, it's good to upgrade Distillery, but these two are like our Exodia combo, so we're never swapping out of those. So it's fine to just ignore it here.
You should know.
But if I
have
didn't
a
have
legend on Pelago.
these two, I would have probably upgraded the Distillery. And now we'll just be invulnerable for most of this fight, so they can't even fight back.
Bring him about. I've got
We don't
another
take
salvo with
damage.
me.
Only 100 seconds of haste on the laboratory. Oh yeah, so for reference, by the way, take a look at the amount that the crit stacks now with the static. Like, it goes up very quickly. That's why I kinda didn't mind upgrading this. Oh, that's true, Alembic gives a reagent too. A lot of the time, like, when I'm this late in the game, I know it's just, like, me being lazy. But, like, we're so strong that, I think I'm allowed to be a little bit lazy.
You see landfill, I see buried treasure. Hooey! Now that's a bargain.
Yeah, kinda, Tim.
Well, you're doing your part.
They were struggling a little bit, I think. Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
I came here to
if I was doing like a co-op run with someone where I explain every move, I would have probably noticed all those reagents, but especially when I'm streaming, a lot of the time the focus is on the yapping and on playing fast to kind of keep a nice, good pace. So it's definitely true that I do overlook some things, but I think it's always good to have in mind. So I don't mind you guys like pointing it out in chat, just because I do still think that it's always good to remember those things for the runs where it might actually matter.
For your size.
Yeah, Olivia, the 1% crit, when you stack it like 50 times per combat, turns out to end up being more than 1% crit. Oh, you mean the Curio one? Yeah, it was just because I saw it. It was because it was right there, and I saw it, and I remembered it, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to press that.
You are a child to me, and I will.
Well, I think this one might turn into just a great video. People were asking for some, like, examples of how do you actually play Macdan, and I think this might just be... Like, this is Exodia. I think you don't get much stronger than this. It doesn't matter that our opponent had like 8,000 health, because we are invincible with multicast Calcinator that just quick charges. This is insanity. Only 10 activations, you know, no big deal. Let's watch that one more time for the road, and keep a look on the charge rate on this invulnerability potion. So we're invulnerable here, and then we have about 1 second of actual vulnerability until we're invulnerable again. So we can take damage, we're applying 1700 burn.
Is it even a pursuit when
This is basically Exodia. It's really such a sick build.